We lived
And the giving.
All right, we're on. We are live now, streaming live. Again, I apologize for the delay. Obviously, a miscommunication on my part. We are now live, but we did call the meeting to order, and we did say the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Tanzini, can we talk about the number 3 action regarding the $5 million bond anticipation? No, please.
Yes, first, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to ask that you vote to designate a member of your board as the clerk pro tem, given the absence of Ms. Richards, and we want to try to get these documents all signed tonight so we can get them out in the morning.
Understood. Can I hear a nomination for tonight, please?
just one person to
Yeah,
sign.
I believe that Ms. Richards was the clerk.
She is.
Oh,
and-
she is.
and
It
she is-
had previously been Doug.
And she is not
and
here.
She's not here.
Well, Doug can't really
Yeah, you
sign.
could have a,
I'll do it.
I'm not familiar with it,
Okay,
so.
so
You
can
wanna-
you?
I nominate myself. I don't know.
I don't know how to do it or
Just-
what to do, so.
Just nominate Ms. Haley Brooks as the clerk for this
I
evening.
nominate
Just for this
Diane Haley
evening.
Brooks for the clerk.
For this
tonight's
evening?
meeting.
For this evening? For this evening, right?
For this evening.
Okay, all right, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion. Any discussion? I see none. Cameron?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
yes.
And I vote yes as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have a number of documents that I'd like to touch upon for the record. Particularly one needs to be made as a motion when I'm done with it. The first is a vote of the Board of Selectmen actually authorizing the placement of the bond. Voted that we hereby determine, in accordance with General Law, Chapter 70B, that the amount of the cost of the construction and feasibility study of the school project authorized by votes of the town passed on November 9, 2015, parens Article 1, close parens, and March 29, 2014, parens Article 6, close parens, as amended by a vote of the town passed March 21, 2016, parens Article 2, close parens, not being paid by the school facilities grants is $24,964,487, and we do hereby approve of the issuance of notes and bonds in such amount under said General Law, Chapter 70B. Further voted to approve the sale of a $5 million, 1.5% general obligation bond anticipation notes of the town dated June 2, 2017, and payable December 1, 2017, to Eastern Bank at par and accrued interest plus a premium of $11,212.36. Further voted that in connection with the marketing and sale of the notes, the preparation and distribution of a notice of sale and preliminary official statement dated May 17, 2017, and a final official statement dated May 24, 2017, each in such form as may be approved by the town treasurer, be and hereby are ratified, confirmed, approved, and adopted. Further voted that the assistant town treasurer and the Board of Selectmen be and hereby are authorized to execute and deliver a significant events disclosure undertaking in compliance with SEC Rule 15C2-12 in such form as may be approved by bond counsel to the town, which undertaking shall be incorporated by reference in the notes for the benefit of the holders of the notes from time to time. Further voted that we authorize and direct the assistant town treasurer to establish post-issuance federal tax compliance procedures in such form as the town treasurer and bond counsel deem sufficient, or if such procedures are currently in place, to review and update said procedures in order to monitor and maintain the tax-exempt status of the notes. Further voted that each member of the Board of Selectmen, the town clerk, and the assistant town treasurer be and hereby are authorized to take any and all such actions and execute and deliver such certificates, receipts, or other documents as may be determined by them, or any of them, to be necessary or convenient to carry into effect the provisions of the foregoing votes. So you're citing the provisions of the statute, you're citing the articles of the several town meetings under which you are acting. You are placing the note to Eastern Bank at 1.5% gross interest. You are authorizing yourselves and the several other bodies to sign a raft of documents here this evening. And finally, and most importantly, that I want you to keep in the back of your mind, is that there are certain tax compliance procedures which require that you get construction underway and you get expenditures done over certain periods of time so that you don't run afoul of the IRS regulations, particularly with respect to arbitrage, an issue that we are dealing with on 252 Baldwin Bill.
I got you.
Unless there are questions on this, I would respectfully ask that you motion those items that I read into the record and vote upon it.
So moved.
Okay, fantastic. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? Yes,
That was, the note was gonna be paid December 21st, you said, of 2017,
12-1.
the ban,
12-1. 12-1.
or 12/1,
Right, 12-1.
so
Yep.
December 1st of this year,
So,
with the anticipation of that we would have a bond rating then, and we would actually go out for a bond. Okay.
that is correct. Any other discussion? Okay. No other discussion? Okay, I see none. Cameron?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Diane?
yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
I'll be asking the clerk then to sign in the several places. What this attestation says is that this is the vote that was taken, that the meeting was open to the public, that there were no votes taken in non-public or executive session, that will give a copy to the town clerk for it to be posted, and that the board did not revoke it between the time you voted it and the time you're signing this certificate. If agreeable, Mr. Chairman, I'll move on to the next item.
So, please.
The next item is a series of certificates. It cites that you have the authority to issue these bonds. It speaks to the several articles. Just reminding you, there's 120,000 of this 5 million is under authority of the feasibility bond, and 4,880,000 is under the authority of the 47 million article. It says, it then repeats, it says that you're attesting that no other debt has been incurred under those votes. Attests that you have received a certain amount of grant payments from the MSBA, which, as of the date of this certification, was $1,824,000 and change. It certifies once again that you've approved the sale of the notes, that you've authorized the assistant treasurer to issue these notes, and it makes some certifications with respect to the fact that they are in fact your signatures, that you followed the open meeting law, that you have not repealed any of the prior actions. So can't repeal this in between now and when you sign this one.
Understood.
That you have followed the bylaws and that they've been certified by town council, that you do not have a home rule charter, and that you do not have any special law that relates to this, that you do not have any development, that you do not have any litigation or financial interest which could endanger the validity of these bond issues. I think that for the record, it is best to move to authorize the board to sign the official, the signature, no litigation, and official statement certificate.
So moved. Sorry, so moved.
I got it. Have a second?
Second.
The motion is second. Any other discussion concerning this? I see none. Cameron?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
I'll pass these down, and Cameron, I'll collect them. I would ask that you all sign them in the same place, whatever line you pick to start with, just please continue on. The town clerk will sign it in the morning and affix the town seal to it. It has been certified already by the assistant treasurer. Okay. Apologies, my allergies are affecting my voice a little bit here tonight.
Understood.
The next certificate that the board must authorize the signature on is the tax certificate. This relates in particular to the tax treatment. One of the reasons you get such a good interest rate is because you are tax exempt. The payment on these bonds will be tax exempt under certain conditions. The tax certificate in general says that you did deliver notes to Eastern Bank as the purchaser, that you have Locklord LLP as your bond counsel, that the purpose of the financing is the new money basis for the school planning and construction project described in the signature, award, and no litigation certificate, that you are not issuing other governmental obligations for substantially the same source of funds, for the same source of reasons, and that you cannot do so within 31 days. That the purchaser may rely upon the certificates that you have signed and our bond issuing note. That you will be using the application of the sale proceeds for project costs and issuance costs, flotation costs. That's First Southwest, Locklord. That total came to about $10,200, which on an hourly basis is not much, given how long we've been working these options through. That you will expend the gross proceeds in accordance with statute, and that you expect to receive about $23 million in change from the MSBA. That it is that you will not loan 5% to the proceeds to one or more non-governmental persons. In this case, it's 0. And that we will use all the proceeds in each facility financed from the proceeds for the projects. Federal guarantees, we will not be using these monies to refund any other obligation. We're not taking this money and paying off another bond that we have issued. That we will not place these in a hedge fund, and that the no more than 50% of the proceeds will be invested at a substantially guaranteed yield for 4 years or more. That's the arbitrage process. And that the useful life is in keeping with the documents. There's an entire section on arbitrage. I mean, we've talked about that over the last couple of months, the things that we have to do, and that you're not making rebates upon this. There are schedules as to when you have to expend the monies and how long you have to get all that done. And those are what Carol Lee and bond counsel got to keep a careful eye on to make sure that we don't run afoul of. Covenant to comply, basically you're agreeing that you'll comply with all federal income taxation requirements, that you'll retain all records in accordance with statute, and that the no amendments will be made unless they're appropriately executed in this same manner. And this would be, I would respectfully request a motion to approve the tax certificate and to authorize its execution by the board.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
A motion is second. Any discussion concerning that? See none. Cameron?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
There are four, we're at each pink, purple, I guess, tab. I would ask that you sign them in the same places in each document. The last document, Mr. Chairman, is what's called a significant events disclosure certificate. Essentially, what this document does is your promise that if that if certain types of events occur, such as you become delinquent on the bond, you have unscheduled draws on the debt service that would be indicative you are incurring financial difficulties. If you are going to draw on other credit enhancements, whether they be tax anticipation notes, lines of credit, or the like. If you have rating changes, at this point we're unrated, or if we are to have bankruptcy, insolvency, receivership. Most of these are truly private sector events, but nonetheless you need to agree that if any of these types of events happens, that you will forthwith notify the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board as kind of an early alert system.
Right.
And I would respectfully ask that the board vote to accept and authorize the signature of the Significant Events Disclosure Certificate.
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion concerning the disclosure? See none. Cameron?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
And with that, Mr. Chairman, in the last set of signatures here, we will package these up in the morning. A courier will come up from First Southwest, and the bond proceeds will be deposited into the account that has been established to accept them on June 2nd. This will eliminate the .120 or whatever, I forget exactly the number, and the 1.2 or so deficits that are in the two capital accounts. Give you sufficient monies to pay for the design amendments, and puts us towards the bond rating. The last and final note is the actual bond anticipation note. Having taken all the steps preparatory to this, I would ask that the board authorize the execution of the general obligation bond anticipation note in the amount of $5 million.
Have a second?
Second.
A motion is second, any discussion?
That's just one.
I see none. Cameron?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
Thank you. Yes? No. There it is.
How's that? Everything all set down there?
We're good on item 3, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent, thank you. Can we go to item 4, please? Actions on transfers.
Certainly, I did notify the chairman of the advisory committee this morning that it was my intent to seek 2 transfers, as I told you in your weekly. One of those is a request for $1.5 thousands of dollars out of the advisory committee's reserve for a unexpected, unanticipated bill. The bill's $5,000, the account's about $1,250 short. The second is for paying out-of-class salary and additional wages to cover staff shortages in the treasurer collector's office. The treasurer collector resigned. They've been using leave time that they're entitled to. In having the assistant treasurer collector cover, your personnel policy calls for that coverage for the first 40 hours, without compensation. After that, they are to be compensated at the rate of the treasurer collector. So by the time we work all that through, that's actually about $900 short. And then when we went from 2.5 people basically to 1.5 people, it really wasn't enough to cover it. So we had to increase the hours of the clerk. So I'm going to be requesting, subject to your authorization, a transfer of $3,450 from the town administrator's salary, unneeded because my compensation is quite a bit below your budget, into 2 line items for the treasurer collector's salary and the treasurer collector's clerk wages. Total of $3,450. Statute requires that this body initiate this transfer request. Be happy to answer any questions you might have on it.
Just a couple here. The from and to sides don't equal, so the from account's $3,450, but when you combine the two accounts, it's only $3,400.
Apologies, Doug, you're correct.
And the account number on the town treasurer collector salary is not valid.
Right, it's missing a 0.
Yep.
And we'll make the 950, and we'll ask the chairman, I'll initial it, and we'll ask the chairman to initial it. Thank you for catching that.
I make a motion to approve the request for transfer to be signed by the chairman of the board with the changes noted.
Okay, have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Have a motion, a second. Any other discussion concerning the transfers?
Yeah, a quick question on the printout that I'm looking at. What is the 5750 written on there that's copied under the town administrator salary? Are those relevant to what's going on here, or is these just?
5750 is what I believed would be available for transfer out by the end of the year.
Okay.
With this 3450 being transferred out on the next run, it would be about $2,300.
Okay, so this is just your shorthand note.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
Yep. Any other questions? Concerns? I see none. Cameron?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
So I would ask the chair to sign that and then to initial the 950 correction. And we'll get that into the advisory committee's box tomorrow after I have
Okay.
reviewed the draft memorandum. Thank you.
Okay. General discussion?
I didn't know if we might have some time, quarterly we don't, so I have nothing in particular.
Okay, great, fantastic. Does anybody on the board have anything? Diane, you have anything?
No, I just wanted to make a notation, for the interviews that, to have one person. And I request the chair, to ask the questions.
Okay.
And then, just for, in the essence of time and clarity and, just to, I think
Understood.
it gets a little confusing if we all, that's just my opinion.
Doug, you okay with that?
Yeah.
Kieran, you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
That sounds good. Okay, great. Let's,
So these, what, you passed out, Holly?
Yeah, these two.
Okay,
are
because the other ones just had a formatting error,
Yeah,
right?
so you
Okay,
updated
that's, okay,
the
I just
timeline.
wanted to, so those are,
Good ones.
yeah, they're the same, but that was missing.
all right, that's gonna, conclude pretty much the, that part of the meeting. Thank you, Steve.